So I used to have this friend. I knew him in person, and then he'd pop up on my Facebook feed named Josh. And Josh used to post all kinds of stuff around listening to other people's conversations and sort of ad libbing on what they were talking about. And he was hysterical. Like his spin on things was so funny. And I do something similar, although there's a lot of things that I hear that I could definitely make fun of or overanalyze. I am today going to talk about how uh, non-productive I find people's communication. And sometimes I'm listening to people who are strangers, and I don't really, I have no context on who they are or how they typically communicate. And then other times I do know a little bit about the personalities. And so this particular incident I'm going to talk about is with two people that I know, at least superficially. I don't know either of them terrifically well, but I do have some basis of knowledge of my own communication patterns with them, what the other things I've taken note of about how they are, what intelligence level they're at, how they think of themselves, how they speak of themselves, and how they speak to other people in general in a very open environment. I don't tend to have many one-on-one conversations with them. But both of these people are highly intelligent. They're both women. They're both highly intelligent, and they both have a lot of answers for other people. And that comes out in both the things that they do for a living. One is in a much more like kind of touchy-feely type of occupation. The other one is in something having to do with a legal practice or what have you. I'm not sure. And either of them may or may not be working part-time or retired at this point in their lives. But to give you a background of like what their education and life experience was like vis-a-vis their occupation. And I'm listening, and one is somewhat soliciting help, the other is somewhat advising. In this case, the legal person was advising the other person. And what I found to be really interesting was how a lot of it, there's different levels of communication. There's the one where you're trying to talk and people are just constantly interrupting you because they have all the answers, they know what you should be doing. And one of these people is like that, in my impression, typically. But in this case, what I was seeing was a kind of a little bit better than a level zero communication, which is just no hearing at all and constant interruption. And this person was, instead of trying to tell the person what to do, was sharing their own experience. But even the sharing of their experience was peppered with, "This is what you should do," or, "Hey, I see myself in you, and I would do this, and what you really need to do." And that was kind of implied and also sort of like backhandedly also stated. And anytime, here's what I'm going to say about that. Anytime I'm coming at you, telling you what I think you should do, or how you should be, or how you should talk, or what you can correct, I'm not listening at all. Right? That means I'm in my agenda. I'm thinking about what I think you should do. I'm really playing a certain sort of a God or higher power in terms of like your life in that particular moment. And it's not to say, because think about it. Think about the last time you wanted to tell somebody what they should do. Think about whether or not they actually ask you specifically, "What do you think I should do?" I'm going to guess that 9 times out of 10, that question never came out of their mouth. But you took it upon yourself because that's the way you communicate. That's how you're half present in your conversations, is that you're listening to the other person to provide advice, suggestions, input. And I don't think there's anything wrong with giving somebody a healthy dose of, "This is what happened to me." I think that's really a good thing to do. But even when I've done that, I'm doing it sometimes with the intention of, "This is what's happened to me, and I think you should have this same experience." Or in other words, what you should do is, "I'm going to tell you what happened to me, and I'm going to tell you how I handled it. And what you should do is handle it the same way. Because if you were smart like me, that's what you would do." And there's such presumption there, there's such conceit there, there's such arrogance there in terms of me thinking that I have the answer for you. I do not. Nobody has the answers for you but you. Not your life coach, not your therapist, not your mother, not your best friend, nobody. For me, in terms of like self actualization and really growing spiritually, growing emotionally, growing professionally, growing personally, I must come back to some semblance of, I am finding the answers from the inside. Now, I use communication with friends, my mother, my guy, therapist, coaches, in order to create more questioning within myself in order to build up my ability to self-examine in a healthy way so that I can find my own answers. And I do believe that's what those other people are for. But so next time you're in communication, you find yourself interrupting a lot and kind of like trying to tell people what to do, why don't you just take a minute, take a breath, and just decide to shut up and see what happens. See how it changes. See how the person actually starts to open up and talk more instead of like feeling like they're debating with you. It's remarkable. It's really remarkable how much can change when you learn to be quiet more. And believe me, I've learned. Not entirely, but I'm still working on that. Thanks for spending time with me. Have a great